Okay. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Welcome to ServLed Friday. Um, Before we start anything, African Entrepreneurs Hub is our foundation's a Christian organization. So with everything we do, we start with a short prayer and we finish with a prayer. So I can just ask you all to bow your heads and pray. Father Lord, we thank you for today. We thank you for bringing us to this gathering. We thank you for bringing everybody here safely. And for those who may still be on their way, we ask that you grant them traveling mercies and bring us there safely. We pray that we learn a lot from Mr. Day this evening. We pray that he has a good experience with us. And we pray that we all leave here with vital information that we need to help our businesses grow. We thank you in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
So thank you all for coming. My name is Mansa Aisiotri. I am the Executive Secretary for African Entrepreneurs Hub. And African Entrepreneurs Hub is a non-profit organization that focuses on encouraging youth entrepreneurship. ServLed Friday is one of our flagship programs. Every week we run this program to encourage those who are starting their businesses to be able to do so, learning from those who've already built their businesses successfully. So we learn from their successful journey, we learn their mistakes, and we also learn what to do to help support our businesses with their growth. This evening we have a special speaker with us. Last month we just concluded with Techpreneur Month, where we had technology entrepreneurs who came through the doors to talk to us about various aspects of building a business as a and applying technology to it. This month, we were hoping to focus on agribusiness, but it's sort of clashing with a whole lot of other events, so we can't exclusively be agribusiness, but we are pleased that we have Mr. Seth there with us, who is the co-founder of Blue Skies. When I was going through his profile and I was doing some research on him, what I found really striking was that aside from his interest in agriculture, which is what he studied, he's also a big art collector. So he's not only known for his as the co-founder of Blue Skies, he's actually known to be one of Ghana's largest African art collectors. So I found that very interesting. Not many people value the arts industry, and I think it's an area where we need to place focus. So I was very excited to read that. But beyond that, Mr. Day has worked all over the world, including New York and Abidjan. And he's the founder for Lisa Freak in Ghana, which he started in 1993. And along with the British partner, he started Blue Skies Ghana Limited. I did read that he says Blue Skies was not his idea. It came to him through his co-founder, who mentioned to his company he was working for at the time to look at taking the freshly packed food from Ghana, and they subsequently buy them. I'd like to hear what that story is all about, but I won't go into too much about who he is because I think you'd be the best person to tell us who he is. But so please put your hands together and welcome.
Thank you very much. I should start by apologizing for breaking one of the cardinal rules of business, which is be on time. Frankly, it's a series of events beyond our control. I hope that by the end of the evening, you will find that waiting for me was worthwhile. My name is Seth Day. Actually, now I'm called Nanapa because it's first, because I'm a teacher, my real name now. But my name is Seth Day. I was born in a very small village in the eastern region called Kofi Barre. Kofi Wayo mentions this village quite often because he says he comes from there. So I accept that he comes from there. Anyway, it's a cocoa growing village, so I actually grew up a cocoa farm. Attended a Presbyterian, primary schools until 1958 when I was in Form 2 and took the common entrance. Once again, it was the headmaster who brought attention to our attention that we were taking the common entrance. I took the common entrance. In fact, I had to go from Ufipari to Insaon to take it. And I guess 2 or 3 months later, I got a letter from my mother's school that I was being called for an interview. After that time, no one from my village had gone that far. Anyway, I went to the interview and subsequently got a letter of admission plus scholarship. So, I started school at Achimota in 1959, Form 1. So I'm a member of what they call the 1963 year group, but I actually did not stay at Achimota School. I didn't stay at Achimota until 1963 because in 1961 I got another scholarship to go to the US. So I left Ghana when I was 16 and attended a boarding school, private school, or in the US they call it prep school in Massachusetts from 1961 to 1963. Then I always had the intention of studying something about agriculture. So I was accepted to Cornell University, which is arguably the best school of agriculture in the US. So I went to Cornell to agricultural economics with the intention of coming back quickly to work in extension. But then in 1966, when I think most of you were not around, the President Nkrumah was overthrown. That had a major impact on the academic career of Ghanaian students. At that time, the level of nationalism was very high, and everybody was trying to finish and come back. So when Nkrumah was overthrown, it became, it became aimless, basically. And many people didn't know what to do next. So quite a few of us just stayed in school and kept getting degrees. So we're totally aimless, really, frankly. So I went to Columbia University, graduate school of business, to study finance. And then I went to the graduate school of journalism in Columbia also to study journalism. The main reason behind that is that in the 1960s, business schools in America, led by the University of Chicago, became very highly mathematical. The Secretary of Defense, the Minister of Defense of the US at that time was a man called Robert McNamara, who before that was a professor of mathematics at MIT. And he believed that one could always solve problem by using mathematics. That is, find a way to look at the important variables or something in a problem and define the relationship and write an equation and then solve the equation and you have an answer. So graduates from business schools were very self-confident, very aggressive, going to conquer the world. Now, I didn't feel very comfortable with that view, because the boarding school I went to put a lot of emphasis on liberal arts education, where you did a lot of poetry, literature, and they're being brought up to as a sort of a complete human being, able to survive in any environment. But we also brought up to feel that you were responsible for other people, other human beings, your fellow citizens and all that. Of course, I must say that the school was very small. 72 students, that's the entire school, 4 years. 12 teachers. So you can imagine that classes were very small. And it is true to say that most of the students, or all of the students, were from very wealthy families who didn't have any anxieties about their future. They were brought there by their parents to learn humility, to become well-rounded, familiar with literature, poetry, and science also. And so I did not feel very comfortable with this aggressive business system. And I thought I should round up my education with studies in journalism to add a dose of skepticism in my worldview. But journalists are always skeptical until they become convinced. Also, you learn how to develop a sensitivity for other people. After Columbia, after business school, I worked for an insurance company in the US. And then one day, a gentleman, an African American businessman, came to me and said, "Come, work with me. Come, let's go. I have set up leasing companies in 10 African countries, and I want you to join me." Despite the sort of disruption that was going to bring into my life, I've been married since 1967. So we're a young couple trying to, find our feet and to suddenly get up to go to Zambia. But I accepted the challenge and worked with the company. We had just signed a huge leasing contract with the government of Zambia. Again, some of you, I think this is some of you may remember, but I don't know around. But Prime Minister of Southern Rhodesia, Zimbabwe, declared independence, was a rebel, and closed the boundaries with Zambia, in fact with all the neighboring countries. And Zambia is a landlocked country that was producing a lot of copper. The problem now was how to get their copper to port, usually Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, or Maputo in Mozambique. So this gentleman who came to recruit me saw an opportunity and gone to Zambia to say, hey, I know how to solve the problem. I will lead trucks and create transportation system which will take your copper out and bring your imports in. So he signed a $400 million contract and came to me. But at the time I was one of the few blacks, there were not too many blacks in financial services. So he came and said, come on, I want you to come. And pretty soon he said, you are going to be the deputy manager of this project. So we had a contract to supply 400 tractor trailers, these Tarzan transport trailers. And we went to a company called Ryder. Those of you who are familiar with the US will probably know the name Ryder. They are the biggest truck rental company in the US, probably with about 15,000 trucks. So we went to them to say, here, we have this contract, and please come and help us set up the management system for the trucks, maintenance and so on, and the scheduling. So they came up with an idea, which was that the tractors, these are two pieces, the trailer and then the tractor. The load is on the track on the trailer, where the tractors will keep moving and the trailers will follow intermittently. We could say that if you're a tractor driver, you work from 9 to 5, just like a regular job. So you drive and pick up a trailer from point A, and you drive it to point B and just leave it there, come home. So you always get back home like 5 o'clock. So they set this up. But then, for some reason, because I understood later that we were going to give very strong competition to British Leyland. So they dominated the truck market in Eastern Africa at that time. And here we're bringing 400 giant American tractors. So they maneuvered, and the contract was suddenly cancelled. Now, we were a small company, a little more than a startup. So it put the company into a bad spin. So this is 1974. And I was asked to come to West Africa to manage, or rather to save, the company's operations in West Africa. So in 1975, I came back to West Africa. I went to Cote d'Ivoire. which was a bit like our headquarters for our operations in West Africa. So in West Africa, we have operations in Cote d'Ivoire, Mali, Burkina, Togo, Benin, Cameroon, and Gabon. So at the age of 32, I became head of all this. Didn't speak French then. I had to learn fast, but I did. And my job was really to see how we could salvage our company because the cancellation of the contract had really, broken, destroyed the company. So we were able to collect, the lease rentals from the customers clients that existed in our zone. But eventually, the board made a decision that it wasn't worth continuing. This is around 1987. So I had to think about what I was going to do next. And I decided I would come back to Ghana. That time, that's when I can say, you remember. Things were very difficult in Ghana. And I decided I would create a leasing company in Ghana. I felt that leasing was a good idea because the need for capital. So each time you came to Ghana, you met people who would say, well, I want to start this business, but I don't have money, I don't have capital, I don't have, Whereas the leasing provided the opportunity to supply the capital equipment without their having to shell out initial money or match initial money. And then by using the equipment, they should be able to generate money to make the payment required and also make a profit and eventually become the owner of the equipment. So I had really huge plans. It was kind of the beginning of the gold mining boom in Ghana. So I saw myself leasing heavy equipment to Shanti, Gold, and the others. So by 1992, I started a leasing company in Ghana. I'm still talking about myself before I get to the subject. I'm sorry, I think it's necessary so that you know how to interpret what I would say subsequently. Now, the leasing company in Ghana is classified as a non-bank financial institution. The main impact of that is that we are under the supervision of the Bank of Ghana. But when the supervisor when your supervisor doesn't understand what he's supposed to be supervising, then you have big problems. I see and I know leasing to be a leverage business. That means with little capital, you can do big things. But the Bank of Ghana turned this whole thing upside down. That is to say that the rule, Article 40 of the Ghana leasing law, says that if you're a leasing company, no single transaction can be greater than 25% of your capital, of your equity. Now, most of us started with, well, we started with $1 million. But it meant that we could not do a single deal bigger than $250,000. Now, in the type of business we were in, it meant that we could not even buy one bulldozer for a client. So we were forced to do small deals. And I felt that there was no future in this. But I could not see, because we started at the same time with UT and all that, you know. And today they are a big bank, and no leasing company in Ghana and Gambia. But I saw that coming, and I said, let's forget about this and do something else. That something else came in the way of blue skies. I was in my office when this English gentleman came and said, I've been asked to come and speak with you because I'm looking for a partner in Ghana, and I've been told that I'm looking for, you use all the right words, an honest, blah, 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 business. I said, go and talk to this man. So he came and I said, okay, so what do you want to do? And he said, I was the CEO of a fresh cut fruit company in England. Mostly mangoes, pineapples, you cut, package fresh, and sell supermarkets. And then we were importing our fruits by ship from Caribbean, South America. And I noticed that quite often by the time the fruit arrived in England, they were a bit off. So I went to my board of directors and I said, I have an idea. My idea is, instead of importing the fruit to England, let's export the factory to where the fruit is grown, and then we can buy it fresh, cut it, and it will be fresh. They fired him for that. So he actually sort of set out to prove that he was right. He come to Ghana to set up a fresh cut fruit company. And he wanted to invest in it. And in fact, he had raised quite a bit of money, but there was a portion left that he needed to complete the investment. I asked him, so what are you going to set this up? And he said, it's a woman. A red flag, a red light, lit up in my head because Salome is a bit like a graveyard for these types of companies. It's our own country, Aztec, and I could see our company dying and going blueberries. But he was confident, he had this self-confidence about him. And so I said, okay, I'll invest. And I forked out quite a bit of money. And I don't want to continue here because I want to show you what our company has become today. And then after that, I will talk about, because Mansa said I should talk about legacy. How do you create a legacy? But I think I can explain that better after the PowerPoint presentation. To help you do that, I brought our PRO, Alistair, to come and present the PowerPoint presentation. And then after that, I'll continue. Okay. This is Alistair. Go ahead.
I guess I can stand here.
Yes.
Once again, good evening to everybody. Just like Mr. Seth said, my name is Alistair Jimati, and the PR, I'm also in charge of projects for these guys, and I'm happy to be moving around this great man with a lot of wonderful ideas. He's still very young, don't look at his screen. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about Blue Skies. And for us, this picture on the screen actually explains everything we do in Blue Skies. And I'm very passionate when it comes to agriculture. And Mr. Seth has taught us to learn, to make us believe that the future of this country lies in the hands of agriculture. We can do anything else. But we have a serious look at agriculture as an alternative to most of the things that we do. Our economy will still be lingering where it is, and we'll still be facing those day-to-day economic challenges. And I'm sure by the time I finish this presentation, we would have gotten why there's that belief and why we believe that agriculture is the future. So Blue Skies was founded courtesy of Mr. Seth in 1997. So we are barely 18 years old. We basically do fresh cut product and freshly squeezed juice for major supermarkets in Europe. In Ghana currently, forget about the figure, that we employ about 3,000 people only in Ghana. And to my interest, we are the largest employer in the private sector. No other company employs over 2,500 people. We employ 3,000, and we are still marching on and hoping that it gets better. So we supply to the 13, I'll call it 15 premium supermarkets in Europe. And like Mr. Seth said, the reason why we have the name Blue Skies, he gave the prelude to that. It was about the fact that when Anthony decided, he came to Africa and observed the potential here in developing a business that can supply fresh cut products to major supermarkets in Europe. Because, like Mr. Seth said, when you are shipping pineapples from Africa or from the Caribbean or any part of the world to Europe, the minimum is about 6 weeks. So if you cut pineapple from your farm today, and you keep it for 6 weeks, I think you can imagine how it will look like after 6 weeks. And that's how it gets to Europe. So they believe that European consumers need to taste something different, something fresh, something natural, something that's different from what anybody else is doing. Unfortunately, his company did not approve of it. And for you to get a balanced quality fruit, mango, papaya, pineapple, you need some level of Blue Skies. So in his emphasis to his management, he keeps emphasizing the fact that the skies in Ghana is very blue. The people are wonderful, and the location is quite close to the airport. And nobody seems to understand what he was talking about. So he said in his letter of dismissal, he was told that now that they are relieving you of your position, you can go back to Ghana and enjoy the Blue Skies. Since his emphasis all this while has been about the blue skies, then go and stay in Ghana and enjoy the blue skies. And it is symbolic. When the skies is blue, I'll be telling people, even the birds are happy. Today, Accra looks very gloomy because there was a little bit of downpour. When the skies is blue, everybody's excited. Even the microorganisms, the biologists will tell you get excited and they multiply when the environment is conducive. So we've won a couple of awards, but that's not what we talk about. The company actually started with 35 people. The first 35 people, and there was one preferred picture I always show. Unfortunately, I don't have it on the screen today. So this was the concept of the company. We believe that pineapples can be harvested this morning from the farm, processed in the afternoon, flown in the evening, and by the following morning, it should be on the shelves of the supermarkets in Europe. And that is what we call fresh from harvest. So that was the concept they were trying to explain that nobody seems to believe. So as you can see, pineapples that have been harvested this morning, processed in the factory this evening. I think the last airline that runs our route is BA. BA probably will be leaving Accra this evening around 9:15 or 10 o'clock. By 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, pineapples that either 24 hours before were on the farm will be on the shelves of the supermarkets for European consumers to benefit from. Our production does not add any preservative, we don't add water, we don't add anything. And that's how we call it fresh from harvest. Our juice, we call it fruit in a bottle. So it's just a matter of squeezing natural juice and putting it in a bottle and capping it for consumers. So if you see the table below, it tells you about our concept. Latest by 10 a.m. or maximum 2 p.m., pineapples from the farm arrived in the factory. They will be processed throughout, and the first aircraft that leaves during the day will be Emirates around 1 p.m. and that will be followed by KLM and then BA, and depends on the available flights that we have. So we started in Ghana basically because of the huge pineapple base that we have then in this country. I'm saying then because it is now a mirage. Yes, we are no longer the leading producers of pineapple. We can boast of something else. Probably not pineapple now. But we started in Ghana, and as a company that is bent on not just supplying pineapple to maybe Sainsbury's or Marks and Spencer or any other supermarket in Europe, we want to supply all the wide range of products, fruit products that they will need. So if they need coconut, we should be able to supply them coconut. If they want pineapple of all sorts of varieties, we should be able to supply. If they want pawpaw, so we were bent on getting both decidual and tropical fruits to the shelves of the supermarkets. So, and it might interest you to know, the whole world, Ghana is the only country that has 2 seasons of mango. And even with our 2 seasons of mango, we can only produce mangoes 12 weeks out of the 52 weeks in a year. So when we don't have mangoes, we process mango every day of the year. In fact, currently we are doing an average of about 20 tons of cut fruits, finished products to supermarkets in Europe every day. So we process pineapple every day, we process mango every day, papaya every day, coconut every day, lime. I'll come to the fruits that we process and then you see them. So because we don't have mango throughout the season, when the Ghana is out of season, we need to source mangoes from any part of the world where we can get mango. In fact, as we speak now, we are airlifting mangoes from Petrolina in Brazil to Accra. So we hire a jumbo jet to airlift the mangoes because for us mango is gold. It's a golden fruit. Because currently in Ghana we don't have mango anywhere. You see anybody carry anything calling it mango, tell them I said because that is not mango. So we started in Ghana, and because we could not get mangoes throughout the year, we were importing mangoes from South Africa, Egypt, Brazil, sometimes even Israel, to Ghana to process. Because we cannot fill the supermarkets. You cannot go with the excuses we've run out. And once the fruit business is such that once the order is taken from you and given to a competitor, you are done. So we were getting mangoes from South Africa, and if we import 20 ton or yes, like 20-footer containers of mangoes, we'll lose like half of it. So we decided, why don't we set up a factory in South Africa so that it will augment what we do in Ghana, and then we can also get direct flight from Johannesburg to maybe Paris or London or Heathrow or Schiphol. So we set up in South Africa and realized the advantage of having other decidual fruits like the Galia and the melon, the cantaloupes, and the others that are not in Ghana. So we can at least provide a wide range of fruits to the supermarket chain. And then when we are out of season for some fruits, we get some from Egypt. But in Egypt, their policy is not like in Ghana. It's always very difficult for you to take raw products from Egypt than when they are processed. So it was a bit more expensive for us taking raw fruits from Egypt than having them processed. So it is only wise for any good entrepreneur to set up a company in Egypt. And the advantage is that it boosts the economy. Because once you are adding value as source, then you are supporting the economy of that country to develop. So we set up another factory in Egypt. And then when the whole of the sub-region in Africa does not have most of the fruits that we process, especially mango, there's a lot of mangoes in Brazil. Because of the wide tropical nature of Brazil, even when one area does not have mango, another, it's just like taking the whole of Africa as a region. So in the southern part of Brazil, because if you are flying from the north to the south of Brazil, sometimes it takes you about 8 hours when you are within the same country. And if you are flying from Kutoka to Itro, it is 6 hours. So it tells you the wide nature of Brazil. So at any particular region in Brazil has mango. So we set up another factory in Brazil as well to augment what we do from the other factories. Then we had a packhouse in Senegal, where when Ghana is out of season in terms of mango, we source mangoes from Mali, Burkina, Gambia, and then we pack them nicely and either airlift them or ship them, or our vehicles go to bring them to grow in Islam, where we process and then we export to Europe. And then in 2010 or 2012, when we had the volcanic eruption, there was this volcanic eruption in Iceland that grounded all flights. We were seriously affected. I'm sure that we will talk about the cost involved in that. So one of the corrective measures to avoid reoccurrence of that is to set up another factory in the UK, so that we ensure that if all flights are grounded today, we'll still be able to do business by producing and supplying the supermarkets. It is easier for us to get fruits from either Costa Rica or other parts of the world to the European, to the UK or to Europe, process them over there and supply to the supermarkets than telling them that we're having a problem. So, because Marks and Spencer will not let their shelves be empty just because you don't have food to supply. They'll give the order to somebody. So it also ensures business sustainability. Most times we will not break even, but at the end of the day, we remain sustainable. And for us, that's the most important key word. So we provide a lot of support for our farmers. In fact, we have been.
Can we ask questions?
Yes, you can ask questions. Or
Yeah, so like all the factory units we have across the world,
yeah,
do they all produce at optimal capacity so that they constantly feed your the demand that you have to meet, or they are just like say supporting it so that if someone is not able to produce, then maybe real support?
Well, the others I'll consider them as supporting factories.
Okay.
So I wouldn't say they are producing at optimal, but they are all in operation throughout the year anyway. But the main production comes from Ghana, and they are not as big as Ghana. Okay. If you go to South Africa, we employ well about 600 people, but in Ghana we have about 3,000. It tells you the difference. So at any particular time, we do a lot from Ghana than any other part of the world. Yes, but it tells you that these are strategic locations. We put our factories so that at least we'll be able to meet the demands irrespective of the time and the challenges. So we're the first in the world to organize a group of farmers. Yes, please.
So you mentioned that you had a factory. You had to site a factory in England.
Yes.
Just to avoid the recurrence of the problem.
Yeah. Yes.
And you mentioned also that you sourced the raw materials from Costa Rica.
I said when we don't have the raw materials and flights could not fly from Africa, we cannot go to the supermarket and say we don't have it. So the option would be, it's better to get the product produced and supply to them anyway than giving an excuse for whatsoever reason you will not be able to supply to them. You will lose the business.
So in England, how do you supply?
Well, currently the factory is in operation because yes, we get raw materials from Ghana and other factories to them to get them busy to be producing, but they are strategically located so that in case any factory, if right now there is a fire outbreak in the Ghana factory and the factory cannot process, the UK factory will quickly come in and take over their orders and make sure that the supermarkets are supplied.
Okay. I wanted to ask, because we're producing from different countries,
Yes.
how that customer react to the variation in the taste. I'm sure mango in Ghana will taste different from mango in US or something. So do they react?
Well, anytime we are supplying from any country, if you are getting mangoes from Senegal, it is indicated clearly on the product that this mango is coming from Senegal. If it's coming from Ghana, they know it's coming from Ghana. The most important thing is that you are always, there's something we call QS, where you have to continuously update your customer on where you are getting the raw materials from. And they must come from certified farms. You don't just buy fruits. 3 days ago, we were having a meeting with the Millennium Excellence award committee, and then we were discussing why Ghana's agriculture is not making any inroad in the affairs of things, because Nigerian agriculture is sleeping in Ghana. And I was telling them that most of our produce have been banned, or they are on the verge of being banned from export to Europe, is because somebody registers a company as somebody who can supply tomatoes. He does not have a tomato farm. Somebody has certified such a body without seeing his land and where he's going to produce the tomatoes. So he gets the certificate, he goes to Abogloshi and buy tomatoes, wipe them and clean them and label them and send them to Europe. We don't just buy fruit from anywhere. From the planting of the plant or the crop to harvesting, we monitor and know what goes into it. So at any particular time, we have the projection, we know how much fruit we are going to get from each country across the world. And that is what we don't do in this country. We don't follow standards. Compliance requires legal standards, packaging standards, quality standards, and it cuts across the whole chain of production. So if you want to shortcut and you think, oh, there is a boom for tomato business in Europe, so you go to Abogloshi, buy tomatoes, you don't know where they are coming from. There is what we call the production traceability. If there is a challenge with one pot of fruits we produce today that is going to Europe, we can trace back immediately. We have the date of production. We can trace back to which farm this fruit is coming from, and we will know when that plant was planted, what chemicals were used to it. So it's very easy for us to investigate and say this is what happened and this is what we are going to do to prevent reoccurrence. But if you don't have such facts and information, you can only massage the story, and then you end doubts in the minds of your customers or anybody else. So we're the first to get a group of farmers certified to Global GAP, EuroGAP. EuroGAP is a European Good Agricultural Practice, now Global GAP. And we also have voice in changing it. So there are a lot of things we've done for our farmers to ensure loyalty so that we continue production. Every business, to remain sustainable, you need to have a business model. You need to have a business culture. And like Daddy said, when Anthony came to him and said, this is what I want to do, the first thought that came to his mind when he mentioned the location was, are we also going to add to the graveyard of companies that have died in the surround area? So learning from the history of all these ones, we have adopted a business strategy called the joint effort enterprise, where nobody is taking up. And that's hinged on these three thematic areas. One is employing people from different backgrounds. So in Blue Skies currently we have about 23 different races. We have Chinese, we have British, we have Ghanaians, we have Muslims, we have Christians, we have people from all walks of life working together. We believe that if we progress as a people and everybody be happy, we don't need to say this company is for people who have been to the university only. We need to get people across board. Everybody's input must be taken in. And we respect everybody's opinion. If you come to this country, I think we are the only company in this country that has, as a matter of policy, that employs 5% of our staff, people who are physically challenged. Either they are deaf and dumb, or they have some kind of physical disability. But we employ them, we engage them. We believe that these people, once they are working, and trust me, most of the good ideas don't necessarily come from people who have been to the university or have PhD and have others. Somebody may be very good at just cutting pineapple, and trust me, you can look at a pineapple from the external and tell you this pineapple is good or is not good. You may have gone to do food science or biochemistry and done all the tests and have all the certificates, but you may not have any idea about why. If you come to Blue Skies, every mango that goes into production is checked and selected for production. We don't use machines. There are people who touch the fruit and they will tell you this fruit is ripe, this one is not, and you cannot challenge them. They have been doing it for years and they have become experts, and that's what they do. So I believe that if we want to make any policy change, all these people's input will have to be taken in so that at least we move together. Because once people begin to feel that there's a class of people who are championing this and that we are not involved, let's leave it, then you have a problem. That is where the problem starts from. The other thing has to do with respecting people equally. If you come to Blue Skies, you have key managers. You don't have senior managers. Like you go to other companies where they will say, well, this is a senior staff canteen. No, we don't have a senior staff canteen. We have a canteen where everybody eats. Tables are not labeled. We believe that it enhances interaction. So the general manager goes and collects her food, sits down around the same table. There are people, and it makes people even behave themselves. So people will not use vulgar languages at the canteen when they know that there's a manager or general manager or somebody is sitting there on the same table with them eating. So people will definitely behave themselves. And it helps us to communicate to the staff, because one general manager engages people around a table and say this is what's happening to the business, everybody understands, and trust me, they will spread the message. In the same way, if you leave them on their own, somebody can just get some information, infiltrate the system, and before you say Jack, your house is on fire. So we believe that that kind of level playing field is very, very important. If you come to Blue Skies, we don't have special car parks for directors. Like if you go to the ministries, you see even when the director is on a sabbatical leave, sometimes even when they are dead and gone, the car park is still an allocation for them until there is a replacement. You can't even put your bicycle there. I think you don't need this kind of management. So our system is such that it is open to all. And one thing I always emphasize, Blue Skies, we give paternity leave to the men. When the wife is you are allowed to go and stay at home and take care of your wife and your little kid. And whilst we also protect the women as well. I think the Axis 5 make provision for 12 weeks for the women. We give them 14 weeks, so at least they will get something extra. So that's about our culture. We call it a culture of civil society. If you come to Blue Skies, apart from managers that need special offices or where they will be listening to information that nobody else, any other manager works in the operations room. And we believe that it helps because once there is a problem, the chief engineer can easily drag his chair closer to the production manager and they can discuss and then end it there. Instead of picking a phone to call somebody who probably is not in the office, either he's receiving a call outside his office or he's having some fun chat and then there's something ongoing. So that's the second area. And the third one is that we are not for the Christmas. Blue Skies is a business and we believe that for us to remain sustainable, we need to be innovative and profitable. And that's how come with the changes in all the things that are happening in the world, we are still growing just because we are trying to be as innovative as possible. In fact, currently we have about 152 different products that we supply to supermarkets in Europe. And people come around and they baffled at the kind of things that we do. Almost every fruit in this country or in the world, we have experimented with. And we know what these fruits are capable of doing. We have a whole lot of range of products that we have not even yet released onto the market. And we believe that that's because we are operating in an economy where inflation just goes like the way goods are scored in England. And we sell in countries where there are times of deflation. So you need to be strategic, otherwise then you become highly unsustainable. So this is how we count our joint effort enterprise in a virtuous cycle. We believe that in the value addition at source concept, which is something we believe in. I've been telling people Ghana has been mining gold since the Pope was an altar boy. And the Pope has graduated from an altar boy, a man server, a reverend father, a bishop, a vicar general, an archbishop. He's become a cardinal and now a pope. We are still where we are. The only gold refinery we have in this country, PMC, 3 days ago is in the news, is collapsing. All we do is to mine the gold and then we fly them out. No value addition. We have been producing cocoa in this country. We're boasting of having 1 million tons of cocoa. What is the benefit of producing 1 million tons of cocoa if it does not benefit the people directly on the ground? And I was ashamed 3 years ago when during what has been termed National Chocolate Day, the Minister of Tourism went somewhere in the Western region, spoke to an elderly woman who is about 87 years old, and for the first time in her life, she was tasting chocolate. Just because she doesn't even know what comes out from the cocoa that they have been producing all their life. Because as a country, we have failed to add value to most of the things that we do. Currently, by the grace of God, we are mining oil in commercial quantities. What are we doing with the oil? Tor is not in any active operation. So we export the crude oil and we go and buy finished product. There is no way our economy will develop if we are not adding value to our product as source and we are not improving on. If we are not exporting anything and all we do is carry things out there, go and give it to them, add some small value, bring it back in a very special way, and then we sell it. It is not going to help us in any way. So we believe that we need to add value as source. In adding value as source, the life of the people are improved because we are processing fruits in Ghana. Like Mr. Seth said from the onset, if Anthony decided that they were coming to buy pineapples from Ghana to go and process in Europe, who would have been employed? I'm not sure I would have gotten employment. I will not be talking here. So once there is value addition as source, the people's life are improved because at least people can get work to do. There is technology transfer. There is also very important aspect of ensuring the well-being of the communities around. So these are just some of the supermarkets that we supply to, and I'm sure quite a number of you will be familiar with some of them. Waitrose, Alberta, it's in Holland. We have Sainsbury's, Waitrose, Asda, Texco, the rest in the UK. And then a couple of awards and standards that you need to meet if you have to supply to Europe. And as a business, we don't just do business. We also try to do things in the community to let people know that agriculture is not a punishment. It is very, very important for us to emphasize that we are doing all this just because of agriculture. And that's why, how come I started with the preamble, that till we have a second look at agriculture as an alternative business. Everybody want to work in an office, it's good. But this is a country that has everything and we cannot feed ourselves. So we go to the rural areas where there are no schools to build schools so that people may not necessarily have to migrate in the name of coming to school in the city and will not go back to the village and leave their farms unattended, so that this agriculture can be improved in this country. One of the major projects we have started this year is what we call the School Farm Project, where we are trying to encourage the young ones like you and I to go into farming. It is good. You can be a lecturer and still farm. You can be a medical doctor and still farm. If we don't do something. So these are just about some impact assessment of the company over the years. I'm not sure you need those ones. But it said, are you ready for the future? This is the time for us all to get inspired. I know you are doing something about entrepreneurism, and there is the need for us to see the future. We said these are true realities. These are things we cannot avoid in life. There will always be serious challenges in life. There will be flood. We cannot stop it. There will be famine. There will be hunger. But what must an entrepreneur do in times like this? You always look for solutions that will not just impact the community and the people, but at least something that would fetch some extra income, or fetch you some extra income, or bring something into your pocket. I don't want to talk about that. These are the challenges that are likely to happen in terms of oil, the climate change, and how temperatures are likely to go up, and what will happen to the world in the next 10 to 15 years. These are things that we should be thinking about. The world's population is likely to go almost to the 10 billion mark, and the issue is, how do we feed ourselves? Recently I was in a conference in the UK, and you could see that Europe is worried, because for the first time 2014-2015, China bought a lot of food from Africa than the whole of the European Union combined, and that for them is a worry, because once Chinese get in and they will not get enough, they will not be able to feed their people, and they need to strategize to avoid that. So people can make a difference. People like you and I, like Mr. Seth, there are several other people, and I'm sure there are familiar faces you can see on this slide. These are people that have made a difference in their generation. What are we also doing about what the opportunities we have now? So entrepreneurs can make a difference, and that's why I believe you are here, and that's why we are all here. People are here to support you, so that at least you see where it is necessary for you to make that difference. So who will be the people who will make a difference in the future? And I strongly believe that, just like Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in your world. I don't want to go any further. Thank you very much. Please ask a question.
So you mentioned that like you produce in countries where like there are high inflations, and inflation just fluctuates like that, and you sell countries that like have inflation. So how are you able to solve that problem? Like how are you able to manage?
So I mentioned the issue of innovation and efficiency, and then because the issue is that we have buying pineapple in Ghana. At the end of every year, staff will ask for salary increment because fuel prices have gone up. Farmers will come and say, give us extra more because pesticides, inputs, and other things, the cost is going up. But if you keep, and Waitrose is not going to change their prices because in Ghana there is inflation. So you'll be selling at the same price. So if from the beginning your profit margin is like this, gradually it's being wiped off. So if you are not innovative to move up, the time will come, you come at par, and then you become a
I want to be specific. As in, if you say innovative, like as in the Muslim.
Innovative in terms of what goes into production, minimizing the cost of electricity, generating a lot more different products so that you'll be able to sell more. Because once you're able to increase sales, then there's a possibility of you making more profit. So we have to get a lot more product instead of doing pineapple, mango. Bring some combinations, do something else that's unique and different.
Let me just say this. Our business is actually several businesses folded into one. Currency. Something we have to pay attention to. We have to manage currency. We have to predict what the behavior of the Ghana city will do. Because we buy our raw materials in foreign currency. We'll get our revenues in foreign currency. So there are times when we are beneficiaries of the fluctuations, but there are other times when we are victims. So we just have to be very sophisticated in terms of how we manage the currency. Like the electricity, the current that keeps dropping. For example, shipping, what do you call it? The shipping airport processes moving. We have, in effect, we have sometimes DHL or FedEx, the same systems, because we are shipping from Ghana 20 tons of food every day. 20 containers. Each one of those containers is going to the airport. Then airplane inside. It carries 1 ton. So we have to have the same systems of control and follow up as DHL or DMS or FedEx. So we have people who are trained to do this. Now, agriculture, pure agriculture. The farmers. The reason why, I don't know how many of you have tasted our juice. The reason why our juice tastes the same every day is because of the way the pineapple is grown. Pineapple is a peculiar fruit, for example. We have in Ghana something called the Ghana Horticulturist Association. There's a subset of that is the Ghana Pineapple Exporters Association. What happens, or what used to happen, is that each exporter would like to be the first person to get his pineapples. Now, pineapple is a peculiar fruit in the sense that when the little pineapple appears, it takes about 130 days for it to mature. Mature, I say mature, but it is not sweet at that time. At that particular point, when it is mature, it's not sweet. Every day after that, depending on the sunshine, so the sugar content goes up. If you leave it on the plant for 140 days or so, it may be rotten, it may rot. So it is somewhere in there that you have to have it. The peculiarity about pineapple is that when you cut it, when you separate it from the mother plant, the sugar content at that level, that is, the sweetness at that level, is fixed. It doesn't change. It is not like a banana. You can take a green banana, put it on your kitchen table, it will become ripe and it will be sweet. But pineapple, once you cut it, it stays at that particular point. It doesn't change. You can artificially use chemicals to ripen the outside but the taste has not changed. So this sort of disloyal competition among the pineapple exporters started to hit Ghana pineapple very badly because some of them rushed to harvest. But they were exporting sour pineapples. Now we have our own agronomists,
But 9 of them are
nine.
the 9.
Okay. Our own professional agronomists who work with the farmers. They follow the farmers every day. They measure the sugar content in food. And then they can cut the pineapple, go ahead and harvest. Okay. That is why I'm saying our juice tastes the same every day because of this monitoring. Our clients are usually the hard market type who are very, very peculiar about their image and reputation. And that, because their reputation gives confidence to their customers. They know that this store will not be selling this if they have not made sure that it meets very high standards. So our farmers we have to start this qualitative from the farm. Alistair talked about GAP, Good Agricultural Practice. It's a set of rules that farmers have to adhere to follow. Some of them are technical, fertilizer use and so on. Some of them are ethical. For example, they cannot use child labor on the farm. Can you imagine the Times of London writing an article that Ghana uses child labor on the farm, and that Martin Spencer is buying pineapple from Ghana and that uses child labor? Now, can you see the implication? So, for example, our farmers, each farmer has good toilet facilities on their farm. Each farmer has got to have a place where they can take a shower. The farmer. They have to have all these things before they become certified. But without that certification, you cannot really sell your food in the European market.
I have a quick question. It seems like you obviously put a lot of effort in maintaining being consistent with your product. What I want to find out, does that cost you a lot in terms of money? Because you have factories in various parts of the world, you're employing, I don't know that many companies in Ghana that put that much effort in it. Does it make it a profitable business?
It costs money. But you see, when you train people very well, and when you put those guys, just walk around and watch, you find that you conclude that everybody knows what they're doing. People are well trained. So as the processes become routinized and routine to people, and that helps keep costs down, or at least prevent them from rising. I can say that we make a profit. In fact, from day one, we've made a profit each year. And the company too has been growing at a rate of 30% each year. So we put a lot of emphasis on training. And we don't like to cut corners. You have to maintain very high hygiene standards in the manufacturing. Pineapple is a fruit that actually there is a kind of cultural name for that type of fruit. I forgot to. But it means this. It adheres itself to any odors in its environment. So if you're working within a factory cutting fruit, and you're wearing makeup, when people eat the fruit, they will taste it. Or using nail polish. I mean, in your kitchen, you use a knife to cut an onion, and then you use it to cut a pineapple. When you eat the pineapple, it's the onion you taste. Yeah, it's true. Okay. So, our business is a whole separate set of expertise we have to have and put together. Okay.
I would also like to know how you are using IT on your farms. Are you using IT?
IT?
Technology, yeah.
Well, first of all, when you go to our website, there's a section where you can visit the farmers or visit the farmers. So you have a video of each farm, and you have a pretty good idea. Each package of our product has a barcode. That barcode has information about what is in the package. So you said earlier, if you should have a problem with any package, we give us the barcode. You can trace it all the way to the farm where it was harvested and solve the problem. As for IT, I would say we are highly IT-ized. I get probably something called a flash report weekly. Right? It is very detailed. Not only talking about our sales and revenue and our balance sheet and all that, but the fruit report includes things like, if I take a pineapple, I cut the top, I cut the bottom, and I remove the skin. What is left is what I'm going to cut to sell. When you look at the statistics of this pineapple cutting around the world, anywhere they do it, you find out that 70% of pineapple, in other words, the yield, so-called yield, from everywhere, almost, it's approximately 30%. Don't get more than that. And actually, you get more if you're doing this by hand than by machine. We are very well-run company, very sound, very detailed. And they said something that we have a very good idea of where we're going to get our mangoes up to 5 years from now. That's our planning, right? So you feel confident that you have a pretty solid organization. It's a model that is working. I mean, why did ask them? Why did I fall down? And so I won't talk about his own country because that's what it's a real state corporation. But this one is a private one. And just for, we tried to figure out why did it exist? Because something we have to know just to avoid making the same mistakes.
Sorry, I think we have an informal session afterwards.
Okay.
Can I encourage you to
Talk
stay
about
like a
legacy.
few minutes and let's wait for the guys. We wrap it up formally so that we can bring refreshments in.
Okay.
We have to. I hope you don't
So I
judge us.
don't have to talk about legacy.
Not necessarily. I think we still talk about legacy on an informal level because we've got to. I
I
personally
can do
think
it in
that we should.
5 minutes.
Oh, no, no, no.
Okay. On legacy, I was going to say that when you're starting out in life as a businessman, the whole issue of legacy is not on your mind. You don't set out to create a legacy. It happens with the results you accumulate over time. And certain decisions you take along. For me, I became conscious of creating a legacy in relation with my art collection. Because for a long time I said to myself that ideally one day I would like to leave this collection to the States. Then later on, after I had become a member of the board of museums and monuments board, I added a proviso of what I said there. Because I have trustees who are supposed to take care of the collection. If the trustees feel that the Ghana Museum is now in a position to manage the collection, then they can give the collection to them. Because they're not good at managing it. No, they are not. Yeah, they are not. Okay. When I was a board member there, frankly, all the curators have left. There's no curators. They have a room there that they keep, sort of back room, which every museum has. And when you go there, things are just lying around. I had an opportunity to visit the back room of the Metropolitan Museum of New York. A professor from New York University took me there. And we have been talking about Asafo flags from Ghana. I said, oh, let me show you our Asafo flag collection. These are things they're not showing to the public. Things in the back room. And then it took me to a special room, special climate, temperature, and everything, you know. And then he pulled out these drawers. And like one drawer, one flag. The flag was lying flat because it is material, it is tissue. Tissue. I'm speaking French. It is a material. And in the raw environment, the raw temperatures and so on, it can deteriorate, it can just become like powder. Okay? And they are keeping these things in a way that way beyond our imagination. And we are the makers of it. You know? And that's why it's not there. You cannot find when you put it in the museum management. The same goes ever before our architecture. Because from time to time the issue has arisen about building a new museum. Frankly, we need a new museum of modern art. Again, we don't have. And the issue always comes, okay, so who's going to design it? In fact, the Italian government wanted to finance the design of the museum. And this went out to Ghanaian architects. you look at the proposals, you cry and you weep. Because no architect was able to show that they had any idea about what goes on in a museum, a modern museum. Okay? It's not just the things you see on the wall. There's a lot of work going like curating, keeping these treasures in good condition, looking after them. And sometimes requires very sophisticated chemical treatment and so forth. No architect made any provisions for any of them. I mean, they don't know. So, that's why I said, for my collection to go to the capital, the trustees have to be satisfied that the museum can take good care of it. I'm skeptical that we'll never get there because I don't see any steps being taken to do that. First of all, the curriculum our universities, Seth, that have art school. I'm not sure they include courses and preservation and so. Yeah. Purity. That's what I'm saying, I'm a bit skeptical.
Thank you so much, Mr. Day. Please put your hands together.
I hope you find that it was worth your waiting for me to arrive.
Time has been a little against us, so we've not been able to do what we.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Master. Happy birthday to you.